need to get a cup of ice. I actually need to get a cup of ice.
Oh, we are live.
We are live. I'll be right back. I'm just gonna go get a cup of ice.
By the way, that's Toya, and I'm Amanda. And today we're having a guest. It's Mumia Obsidian Ali. We'll be right back with Contraversations.
That was a great intro. Shout out to that intro.
Thank you.
Yes.
Well, we have exciting stuff going on tonight. And I've been trying to find his book on toxic feminism. And I can't find it on Amazon. So when he arrives, I will definitely ask him about it.
Fantastic. Oh, follow us on Rumble. You can find us at rumble.com/user/contraversations. It'll be scrolling right beneath us. If you can't read, it's fine. We'll go ahead and put that in the chat for you. But yeah, follow us on Rumble at your earliest convenience. You won't be sorry.
Yeah, we really should put a link in the chat so people can just.
Yeah, I'm about to. If you could beat me to it if you want, but I just
go for it, Toya.
I just copied the link and I'm gonna go ahead and post it. Let me mute us on this other tab so we don't hear double speak.
Hello, the cynical one.
Cynical one. Follow us on Rumble. All right. Cool beans. So while we're waiting for our guest, is there anything you'd like to talk about?
How was your weekend off last weekend?
It was crazy, to be honest with you. It's a blur now because I was doing so many things, trying to get prepared for the new week, trying to wrap up the old week. Yeah, it was a lot going on, but I got my nails done, which I absolutely love this color.
Holy cow. What is it?
It's so the tips are like what you call like a cat eye polish. So I don't know if you can see that, but it has like a whatever, I don't know, effect. And so I just got the tips painted with that because I didn't want the full nail. And my nail tech is so good that she's starting to understand my sensibilities. And so she was able to come up with something that I really love. Like, I'm obsessed with these nails. I'm obsessed. Yeah. I became a nail girly a few years ago. And now that I'm a nail girly, I'm all about getting my nails done every 2 weeks and making sure that they're nice and pretty because it's the only thing that I do for myself so that I feel good about myself. You know, it's like my little treat that I give myself every couple of weeks. So yeah, I did that. I prepared for starting a new position. I washed my hair and retwisted it so it's all where I needed it to be. Ran some errands. Oh, I won $500 on the lottery here in New Jersey. That was great.
Wow.
I spent that all on like necessities and stuff. So yeah, we're good. I had a little bit of a health problem towards the end of this week that I don't want to get into the specifics of, but today I feel a lot better.
Good.
How
Good, good.
about you?
Oh, just normal stuff. Um, Gym in the morning, work, talking some shit about some crazy bitches,
Mhm.
rinse, repeat, golf on the weekend.
Yeah, I'm actually
Yeah.
looking forward to getting back to working out because I haven't worked out in months. And now that I
Mm,
have this new job and these new hours, I am going to get back to my 5 a.m. schedule, which I'm really happy about
mhm.
because I can feel the neglect that I've had, the impact that has had on my body. And so, I'm looking forward to getting back to a healthy balance and routine again, so that I can be operating at my best.
Yeah, definitely. Mornings are definitely better than night shift.
Oh, girl.
Cool.
And the thing is, I always could work out in the morning. So it's like if you work a night shift, there's no way you can work out in the morning. That's why I
Right.
wasn't doing it. But then my body was like, all right, so if you're not going to give us what we need, we're not going to give you what you need. So make it make sense. And so now I'm at a point where I'm getting back to making it make sense. And so I'm really happy about that.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know about our guest when he's supposed to arrive.
Me neither. I guess he might or he might not. I don't know.
Mm,
And since we don't have anything else to talk about, if he doesn't show up, then you guys are getting a short show today.
yeah, it is.
You can leave us comments at contraversational@gmail.com. You can also follow us on the app formerly known as Twitter, Controversay. Um,
Mm,
we look forward to connecting with you guys any which way possible. If you're already following Amanda or if you're already following me, you know how to get in touch with us directly, but you can get in touch with the two of us by using our email, which is controversational@gmail.com. You can follow us on Rumble, rumble.com/user/controversations. And you can follow us on the app formerly known as Twitter. His mama named him Twitter, so I'm gonna call him Twitter. I ain't calling him X.
it's X. I'm trying to, now we brought up X, I saw something that was so damn funny on X that maybe I would share it in the meantime while we wait
Why
for
not?
Obsidian. It
Why
was
not?
so, oh man, but it was last week. It was, I'm trying to find it. I'm scrolling.
Scrolling, scrolling, scrolling.
Yes. Mm. There's just so much that's been going on this week
There had,
politically.
there
And it's so
had.
damn exciting. What's the most
Seriously.
exciting thing that you've seen that's been happening since Trump was finally elected?
I would say the war talk.
The war talk.
Hmm. Yeah.
What do you
Because
mean?
it seems like everybody's getting juiced about there being discussion about another war. Is it going to be a world war? Um, so that's been really interesting to me because I, when I hear the word war, I think about history. And so when we talk about it in modern terms, the person that I am sees that and says, "Why are we still having wars? Like, what is that? Like, what in 2025?" I feel like as a society in general, not just American, but in general, we should have found better ways to resolve conflict. But I guess not. I don't know.
So you don't think war is just kind of inherent in human nature?
No,
You think we can reach a utopian society where war it will
I don't know
be.
about that, but I just don't think that. I just think that war is antiquated. I think it's an old way of doing things. I think we have built up quite a bit of technology knowledge and strategy to navigate things in a better way, in a much more beneficial way than to, because war ultimately means the loss of lives, which we
Hmm.
would lose lives anyway, but do we have to do it in a way that is pointedly violent? Or I don't know. This is how I view war. Maybe I don't have a great relationship with that word. I don't know. It just to me seems like silly to resort to violence in this day and age just for as a means to an end. You won't do what we want you to do, well, we'll bomb you. Like, okay, I guess. I feel like there's a better way of going about things. I don't know. I don't know.
Hmm. Hmm. That is interesting. Yeah, I think war is more of man's work. Like that's
It
a male
is.
realm.
But that's
Yeah.
probably why I'm like, I don't get
Yeah, yeah.
it.
Yeah, you're not supposed to get it. Like let them handle the war stuff. Yeah, that is funny. Well, it looks like we're gonna do some wild card topics, perhaps.
All right.
Moses.
Shout out to Moses, our producer. All hail.
Wild card topic. I'm gonna keep looking for this because this damn thing was funny.
And I want to laugh.
I'm not going to keep doing the same thing in my house. You have to get out my house. I'm sorry, I don't know where you're going to go, but you can call your mama and ask her, can you come back down? You already know she don't want me with her, so why would you even... I don't care. You keep doing the same thing. You keep doing the same thing. I send you to school. You ditch your school. You steady calling these little boys. I don't even talk to nobody. Look, I told you to stay away from these little boys. We're not going to keep doing this. I'm not going over this no more with you. You have to get your stuff and get out my house. Right. Yes, you have to figure it out. You got to figure it out. I'm tired. Call your mama right now. Call your mama. See, that's your problem. That's your problem right now. Your attitude. You're only 14 years old. Call your mama. Yeah. Call your mama right now. You got to get out my house. I'm done. You too grown. You're only 14 years old. You steady doing the same thing. I found weed in your room. Who weed was it? You know my friend was over there last time. That's your problem. You hanging out with these little fast ass little girls. I told her not to bring it in. No, you steady lying. That's your problem. You need to stop lying and go to school. All I asked you to do was go to school. I buy you everything you want. And you steady crying for what? All you got to do is do the right thing. But pack your stuff and get out of my house. You can leave now.
Weed, huh? 14-year-old with weed? It's not good.
That's about the right age.
Mm.
I mean, I
I don't
wasn't
know.
doing it at 14, but my friends were.
I mean, obviously, her parents aren't together. If he's saying,
Right.
call your mom, get out of my house.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get the whole headphone thing. I see it a lot with women that wear the big ass headphones. Like I see it at the gym predominantly, but I'll see them walking through Walmart or at a grocery store, like wearing headphones, like big ass Beats or whatever. And I don't get it. Like there's something off there. It's like those kind of people are trying to not get invaded by the environment or something. They're staying closed off to the environment or disconnected somehow. I don't know.
I see both men and women wearing them, and they're just, to me, the only reason I don't is because they're so bulky.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means though. I mean, I never thought about it that way. You might be onto something, but I don't know.
Yeah. I don't really get it.
Because I
It's like
thought
this.
they were just specifically for listening to things in better sound quality. I didn't think that they were
A fashion thing.
Yeah, I didn't think they were a fashion thing. I didn't think they were, like you said, way to. I don't know. Did she have
Yeah.
them on?
Yeah, she had her headphones on. Like, her dad was talking to her and she had her fucking headphones on. That
Okay,
would have
okay,
pissed me off. I'd be like, take the shit off your ears,
okay. Now
look
I
me in
see
the
what you're saying.
eye.
I see
Like,
what you're saying. Okay, okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, but that might also be a parent thing too. And since I'm not a parent, that didn't even jump out at me. But I see what you mean. Like, it would be disrespectful for sure. Like, I think if I would have put myself in the shoes of the daughter and knowing my mother, she probably would have told me to take them off too.
Yeah.
Just as a sign of respect. But yeah.
Man, I cannot find this. It is the funniest thing I've seen, though.
I don't know how, like, what was wild about that clip to you?
I don't think it was wild. I mean, he's pretty much saying, like, I can't control you. You won't listen to me. You need to go be with your mom, right?
Yeah.
Was that kind of the.
Yeah.
I mean, he has rules at his house. What he said about the weed in the kid's room. I mean, she tried to like dodge it by saying, "Oh, it was my friends." See, that's what I'm saying. It's the people you're hanging out with. Like, he had an answer for that too.
Which I mean, again, this was one of those videos that was obviously staged, but it looked
Oh,
like
you think
it.
it was staged too?
Well, I'll tell you, it looked like they were probably having the conversation already, and whomever he is seeing now was behind the camera and
Hmm.
decided, hey, let's get this on, you know, because I don't think her tears were fake, but I think they were residual of the
Mm,
conversation that had already been happening before the
like it was a
camera.
tail end.
Yeah, yeah. So like I don't think they necessarily like produced this, but I do think that it was like, I'm gonna repeat what I just said to you so everybody can see it, and she's gonna record it, and
Yeah.
like that's what it seemed like to me. Which to me is corny because I think being a parent, it's not about embarrassing your kid, it's not about showing the world how you discipline your kid. It's about really making the connection with your kid and making sure that they know that you're serious versus putting on a show. I hate that about nowadays. Parents want to put that kind of stuff out there about their, whatever their kid is doing and whatever they're up against as parents. I think
Hmm.
there's a right way and a wrong way to go about that, right? So if
Hmm.
I was a parent and I was having trouble with my kid and they did something I didn't like, I might come on my social media to discuss it, but not make my child the focus of it necessarily. I would probably do something where I would be like, listen, I need to vent about this thing that happened with Susie. Susie got on my nerves this week because she did this. Have you guys ever been up against this? What do you do? How do you reprimand your child when they do this or that? You know what I mean? Like, I don't think I would go the route of, Susie, sit right here and let me berate you in front of your friends and everybody else on the internet so that they can see that
Right.
I'm a good mom and I'm about my, you know what I mean? It just comes across as very like cringe.
Yeah. 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 I mean, when you mention it being like staged or whatever, I don't
Because
know.
think about it, when you get into it with your kids, who's in the room with a camera? Right? Am I right?
Maybe somebody that started it.
And in that case, wouldn't your reaction be different because you know there's a camera?
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be weird.
That's all I'm
Yeah, it'd be
saying.
super weird.
That's all I'm saying.
Okay, I
So,
found that video, Toya. I need to share this because this is the funniest shit I've seen all week, and I think you need to watch this.
okay.
This is our own little wild card topic. Okay. Play it. Get big.
Element yet known to science. New research has uncovered the heaviest element yet known to science. The new element is governmentium. It has 1 neutron, 25 assistant neutrons, 88 deputy neutrons, and 198 assistant deputy neutrons, giving it an atomic mass of 3 on 12. These 3 on 12 particles are held together by forces called morons. Of lepton-like particles called pions. Since governmentium has no electrons or protons, it is inert. However, it can be detected because it impedes every reaction with which it comes into contact. A tiny amount of governmentium can cause a reaction normally taking less than a second to take from 4 days to 4 years to complete. Governmentium has a normal half-life of 2–6 years. It does not decay, but instead undergoes a reorganization in which a portion of the assistant neutrons and deputy neutrons exchange places. In fact, governmentium's mass will actually increase over time, since each reorganization will cause more morons to become neutrons, forming isotopes. This characteristic of moron promotion leads some scientists to believe that governmentium is formed whenever morons reach a critical concentration. This hypothetical quantity is referred to as critical morass. When catalyzed with money, governmentium becomes administratium, an element that radiates just as much energy as governmentium, since it has half as many peons, but twice as many morons. All of the money is consumed in the exchange, and no other byproducts are produced.
That was good.
So how, I know I sent you this thing off X. How are you feeling about Doge reducing the size of government, being since there's a disproportionate of Black women with degrees who actually have federal jobs?
I don't feel any way about it.
Yeah?
I don't. I mean, if that doesn't tell you that a lot of us are out here with paperwork that we don't actually need, I don't know what will.
Yeah.
Just walking around with degrees. Look at me.
Yeah.
Look at me. I got a degree. Look at me.
Degree and a shit ton of student loan debt. So if knowing what you know now about the job market and about society and everything, because you went on the track where you listened to your elders that were like, get your education first and go do all this, would you have gone into the amount of debt getting the degree that you did?
No.
No.
Negative Batman. No. I would have I would have done things a lot differently. I would have prioritized marriage. I would have prioritized motherhood. And I would have found a way to eke out a career somewhere in between all of that.
Mm.
Because I do think it's important to have some sense of personhood, and a career is one way to do that. It's not the only way, but I think as a woman, my biological imperative is probably the most important thing that I could be and do. And so I would have been a lot more focused on that than I would have been focused on, let me get all the best grades I can get all the accolades and get a degree and get a job. Like, it's understandable why we are pushed in that direction. That also is what my perspective allows me to see. It's like, while I can say to you that I would have done things differently, I can also on the flip side say that understand why I did it the way I did and why I was pushed to do it the way that I did. Doesn't make it right, but it does make sense when you think about securing a financial future and not having the tools necessary to understand that securing a financial future as a woman is best done under the cover of a man. Because growing up in the time that you and I both did, we were fed the fallacy of women's empowerment and independence. And a lot of us took that hook, line, and sinker. More, I think, in the Black community than any other community.
Mm-hmm.
And So I'm definitely very much a product of that. And then add on that my mother had me as a teenager, add on the fact that my father wasn't present, add on the fact that there really wasn't very much of a male presence in my life growing up at all.
Yeah.
I mean, what else was I supposed to do?
Right. Listen to all the women, right?
Yeah, yeah. So here we are.
Mm.
Sorry.
Yeah, that is disproportionately devastating, if you want to say the Black community, for sure. I mean, you got so many single mother households and career women raising women, young women, and
And
teaching
wanting them
them.
to never have to go through what they went through and thinking that, well, this is the only way we can assure that, only to find
Right.
out actually this is probably going to propel you right to where I am a lot faster.
Right. Right. Mm. Do you think there's kind of an element of it to where they don't want you to have what they didn't get?
Yeah, I do. But I don't think we're prepared to have that conversation.
Oh, who's not? I'm prepared.
No, not you. I mean, in house. I mean, mother
Mm.
daughter. I mean, you know what I mean? I don't think that
Yeah.
we are as a community prepared to have the conversation of, well, if you, what do you mean you can have something I didn't have? I don't think we're really prepared to have that conversation.
Mm. Because that would take a lot of confessions.
Yes, it would take confessions, it would take accountability, it would take getting to the root of things in a way that undermines the very reason why a lot of Black women do what they do.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, I guess we have another wild card. What is this?
You'll only see on Local 10 tonight. A family shocked by what happened at their loved one's funeral.
And they have the video to prove it. Local 10 News reporter Todd Tongan is live with the exclusive. Todd.
Lori and Calvin, this family tried so hard to make the service special to lay this young man to rest in a very dignified fashion. Unfortunately, it turned out not to be the case.
Everybody's hurt and everybody's not at peace.
The family of Thelford Rigby Jr. are upset over the botched burial of their loved one. Better known as Tommy, the 30-year-old had a severe weight problem and related health issues, so an oversized casket and gravesite was required. But when it came time to lay Tommy to rest, there was nothing but indignity. Somehow, they had the wrong measurements, and that's why the burial hole and the vault were too small.
You know, mothers in pain, fathers in pain. We're all in pain because we can't believe this is happening.
Another painful insult was the hearse. Wright and Young couldn't use their hearses because they were too small, so they told the family they would get an all-black or white cargo van, something tasteful. But a van like this one is what showed up at the service.
A U-Haul. A U-Haul with U-Haul logo on it and the price on it.
When we went to Wright and Young, they didn't want to talk to us on camera, but later released a statement saying the staff of Wright and Young Funeral Home deeply regrets the transportation issue which occurred during the service of Mr. Rigby. Our management team has met privately with the family and expressed our most sincere apologies and regrets. They also blamed the too small gravesite on Forest Lawn Cemetery. Today, the correct vault was in place and the grave wide enough for Tommy's casket.
Private property, please turn that off.
But cemetery security kicked us off the property. And Forest Lawn Memorial is fighting back against the allegation by the funeral home that it was their fault, saying in a statement the dimensions for the casket provided by the funeral home to Forest Lawn Memorial Gardens were not accurate and did not fit the standard size vault. Also, they're going to try and rebury Tommy tomorrow at 11 a.m. here. Unfortunately, family members that had come in from out of town will not be there when he's laid to rest. For now, in Fort Lauderdale, Todd Tongan, Local 10 News.
Now, let's hope the second time around is better. Todd, thanks a lot.
So, sounds like a funeral home really fucked up a lot of stuff. Uh-oh, you're muted.
I'm not putting this on the funeral home.
No?
Nope. If you made better choices in life, then you wouldn't have to deal with things like this in death.
Are you saying because he was so big? Like he put on a whole bunch of unnecessary hardship on all the different service providers that do this on a daily basis?
As well as his family. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. This is why folks have life insurance. You put these things into place while you're still alive to make sure that the people who love you are not irretrievably burdened by your death when you go. And one thing you can do to ensure that is leading a healthy lifestyle. And, you know, look, these are problems that did not exist. These are
Right.
problems that just did not exist before. You are eating so much that you are so fat that we can't even bury. We can't, not only can we bury you, but we can't even transport your body
Right.
from the
Without a
funeral.
U-Haul.
And I know for a fact, without even looking at the comment section, that there was somebody in that comment section like, oh, they should be ashamed of themselves. You should have no. If I'm a funeral home and my business is in burying your loved ones and doing it with dignity, and you give me the issue of trying to find not only a large enough hearse to carry your oversized loved one, but now finding a burial ground that will accommodate that. Like that looked like that was 3 different plots.
Yeah.
That was the size
That
of
was
3
a
different plots.
that was
You
a big
kidding me?
casket too. Yeah.
Are you kidding me? So now, so now the cemetery has to sell you a plot of land for one person that they could get 3 for. I'm just saying, like, we're looking at it from a business standpoint. This is bad all the way around. But I'm not putting it on the funeral home, and I'm not putting it on the cemetery. No, they are not culpable.
Well, I would put it on the funeral home. I mean, the cemetery was like, they sent us the wrong dimensions. That could be true.
Yeah.
They need
Okay.
accurate numbers to properly prepare.
I'll give you that.
Yeah.
But the fact that this is a case where we're dealing with a size that normally isn't what we're dealing with, you got to give somebody some grace.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because what are we doing?
Yeah. That's a lot. Extra special. I mean, that had to have been so expensive. Just the casket to have it specially made that size, like
exactly.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Holy shit! We finally have Obsidian.
Is this thing
Hello?
on? Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Okay. You know what? I'm so sorry. I was so immersed in dealing with all of my stuff here in my studio. I completely forgot. So please forgive me. I apologize.
What if we don't? What if we don't forgive you? Where do we go from here?
Yeah, that's pretty. Yeah, I mean, I was just I was like, what the hell, and I was checking the mail. I was, oh shit, I forgot. So yeah, okay. So we're
welcome to Contraversations, Mumia Obsidian Ali. We're glad to have you.
Thank you.
Welcome. Thank you for sending that book, by the way. I was trying to find your toxic feminism one, and I still can't locate it on Amazon.
Really? All you gotta do is just hit my name and just search for my name, toxic femininity. You should come right up.
Okay. Toxic. Is it feminism or femininity?
Femininity, yeah.
Oh, maybe that. Obsidian. There it is. All right, got it.
But I sent you the ebook copy already.
You sent me the ebook copy about Black Love.
No. I sent all. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Hold on.
It matters not now. We're here.
Yeah.
Well, I still want to see that one.
Yeah.
Because I want to see how easy you are on these crazy bitches.
Yeah. I sent that. I sent that on March the 10th. I sent it to Moses. Yeah, that was the very first one I sent. And then after that is then the red book. I sent the red book after that.
Okay, I did not get the first one.
Yeah.
I apologize. Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Always send out books to people, tastemakers, influencers, that sort of thing. They get them gratis.
Yeah. So I have a question, Obsidian, now that you're here. You ready for this?
Yeah.
Why do black women fucking hate you so much?
Why do black women hate black men?
No, hate you.
You.
Hate me?
Yeah.
Oh, I guess you could say I'm a hero to some and a villain to others. I think a lot of black women have a problem with me because I share my observations. I've always been a very observant going all the way back to when I was a kid. I was always a very observant person. And I don't think that I see something that's special or unique that anybody else doesn't see. I think the only difference between me and everybody else is I'll just say it out loud.
Right.
And that's the problem. I just talk about what I see.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. In the black community, a lot of things that black women say and or do from the black male perspective, you're just supposed to act like you didn't see it. And I don't act like I didn't see it. I did. I really did see a putty tat.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much the long and the short of it. And I have a engaging, some would say irritating, others would say very entertaining way of noting my observations.
Yeah. So did you used to have a channel on YouTube and you?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. I had a channel on YouTube. Had a run-in with Kimberly Nicole Foster. She's a modern black feminist, and matter of fact, the book is kind of the purple book. That's what fans call it, the purple book.
Yeah.
The one on toxic femininity, the black man's guide to modern black feminism.
Yeah.
In a way, I kind of have to dedicate the book to her because she was the impetus behind me writing it. It's funny. She used to come over on my YouTube channel and spam up the place. I never went to hers, but she would always come over to mine. And I told her when I was writing my post on the community page, I said, I'm going to end up writing a book about this, right? You know that, right? And that's exactly what happened. 9 months. Let me see. I got booted from YouTube in January of 24. I did my first live in February of 24. I actually started writing the book in October of 23. I finished on the last day of June, the manuscript, and it was at the Conclave. It was we shipped it straight to Houston from the printer in time for the Conclave in early September in Houston last year. So, fastest book I ever wrote to date. 9 months from cover to cover, 472 pages. Burned through it in 9 months.
So you're pretty proud of it? Is it really good?
I am very, very much proud. It's the only book of its kind written by a black man on this particular topic. No other black man that I'm aware of has written an entire volume on what I've coined modern black feminism. Nobody. I'm hoping there will be others that will follow behind me in years to come, kind of pick up where I left off. But I wrote the book in such a way that in case that doesn't happen for whatever reason, it could be a standalone volume. So that's the reason why it's so big. 45 chapters, almost 475 pages. So I did that on purpose, just in case. All my books I write, this is gonna sound bad. I always write them from the perspective of doomsday. Like, what if I die? What if I can't write anymore? What if the world ends? What if Godzilla comes and smashes up Philly? I mean, I always think about, the zombie apocalypse. What would happen if this could be the only book I could write? So now I'm always thinking you got to get everything in on this topic because you might not get another crack at this thing. So that's how I do
it. Good. No, I'm looking forward to listening to that one.
Yeah, it's not out in an audio book yet. It's not out.
Oh no, Speechify will read it to me.
Oh, okay, cool. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, they got programs now where you just scan your phone over the text or something and it talks or whatever.
Yeah. Well, Speechify, you just upload the PDF and you can pick the different voices. You can have Snoop read it too if you want.
I have to find that. Speechify. Is that on Apple iStore or something?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I gotta find it.
Yeah. No, it's quite good.
Interesting.
Well, so are you gonna come back to YouTube now that Google's given up its diversity, inclusion, equity shit, and it's gonna be following Zuckerberg, what he did with Meta?
Oh wow, really? This is news. I just found this out.
Yeah. Huh. No, it's super exciting.
Happy days are here.
I know, right? Well, you know that when Elon bought X, he completely fucking wiped it. Fired all the smother mother word policers, got rid of all the crazy bitches there. And now Zuckerberg, he did the same thing with Meta and Instagram, and now Google just announced that they're following suit too. So that should free up YouTube.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm actually on YouTube. We do a Black Manosphere Conclave show. It's on the Black Manosphere channel here on YouTube. We just started it. We just got started within the past few weeks. So I do go over there. I'm here with you ladies, doing a collab. So I will be appearing in that regard, but who knows what may happen in the future. I like Rumble because I can really do what I want without having to worry about anything. But who knows what may happen in the future? There could be a return of the O-Man. That could happen.
Yeah.
Never say never.
Well, good. I hope so.
Yeah, that could happen.
I don't think Toya has any questions yet. Is there anything that you would like to share about your conclave or your books?
Yeah,
the
Black Manosphere Conclave. Absolutely, the Black Manosphere Conclave is the only Black male gathering of its kind, 3-day gathering event every year. The Black Manosphere Conclave, 100% independently funded. We don't ask anybody to help fund what Black men want to do. Our position is that we can assist Black men in becoming the best versions of themselves and make a shit ton of money of doing it. And we've been able to do that 4 years running. We got started in Atlanta in 21. And we just did our 4th conclave in a row consecutively in Houston at the Four Seasons last year. Houston only has 2 5-star hotels. I found that. I was like, wow, really?
You only got shithole.
Yeah. They had so we had 1 or 2, and that was the Four Seasons. And we were there, and 400 brothers turned out, and it was great. And we're gunning for 1,000 this time in Miami in September. Can't wait. It's going to be great.
It's exciting. So why do you speak behind an avatar? Why don't you cam up?
I don't have cameras and everything. You know what? When I started, I always wanted to do talk radio, right? I would listen to Rush Limbaugh and Howard Stern and Tom Likas. I would listen to these guys, and then they would, some black, Georgie Woods and Jocko Henderson. I would listen to some other guys on the black side, and I would always want to do talk radio, right? So when I was thinking about transition, because I started out as a blogger and a writer, and then the podcast thing hit 10 years ago, and I was thinking, I said, well, maybe I could do the podcast, and podcasts were just audio at the time. Now it's basically de facto TV. They call it a podcast, but really it's a TV show. You got sets and all that, so that's really what it is, talk show. But in any event, I was thinking about doing that, so I just focused on that, just all audio, right? But I see that the trend is de facto TV, so we're moving in that direction. As a matter of fact, I got here at my big ass apartment here, or flat, if you will, here in Philly. The entire living room has been remodeled completely to accommodate a living room on-camera studio, and then I'll still keep my podcasting studio here. It's 3 bedrooms, and I took one of them and converted it into a podcast studio of the old school style, talk radio style. And then in the living room is going to be the camera thing. So we're going to be working on that over the summer. And sometime in the summer, hopefully before the conclave jumps off, you'll see the O-Man, live and direct. So people have been wanting me to, and it kind of feels creepy too. How come I can't see you on camera? What the hell? But anyway, yeah.
Well, it's weird trying to have a discussion with somebody when you can't see their face. I mean, for me, like I prefer face to face.
You can't see my handsome visage right there on my.
I mean, it's an avatar and I do understand, because on my channel there's a lot of men from like around the world that come on there to speak, and they're afraid of their livelihoods. Like they work corporate, they work, and they speak out against feminism, or they have other channels that they don't want them being on, they don't want to get their other channels canceled, so they'll kind of hide behind avatars. I just don't understand somebody so public doing it.
Yeah, that's how it all got started. I was focused on talk radio, and really had a lot of time. You listen to my shows over. A lot of people tell me listening to me is just like listening to any talk radio show anywhere. So that's really how it all got started. But we will be moving into the video age. I guess it's about time. It's 2025, right? So I'll be moving into the video age very, very soon. So we're working on it. I got the cameras and everything already. It's just out in California. I'm in Philly, just out in California. And my partner, Shannon, he has to fly them in from Los Angeles. So what's going to happen is he's going to go down to Florida next month. We're going to lock down the location. We have several. One of them is the Four Seasons in Miami, but we have several others. Ritz-Carlton is another one, and we have some other locations. We're going to figure out which one we're going to do for the conclave, lock that down, and after that's done, he's going to come back here sometime in April, and we'll work everything out. We got to do some additional remodeling and stuff like that. Got a really nice Minority Report style computer. If you ever seen Minority Report, Tom Cruise, I have that type of style. If you ever seen the magic board that John Williams used on CNN, I have one of those. So yeah, it's going to be high tech and a lot of fun. Looking forward to it.
Okay, that's exciting news.
Yeah. The ladies will be broken down in intricate detail, high-tech style this time.
Good.
With grids and graphs and all kinds of squiggly things and video capture and all that. It's going to be a lot of fun.
So I haven't read much of your book, and I'm hoping you touch on this subject in your feminism one. Do you talk about emotional terrorism from mothers?
I really don't touch too much on that topic because I don't have kids myself, and I try not to discuss things that I don't know a whole lot about. There are other brothers that I work with the Conclave, Carnell Smith being one of them. He talks about paternity fraud. He's a paternity coach. Yeah. The lead attorney he's a Conclave alum from 23. He's very well known for talking about divorce court and issues connected to that. I don't have a direct connection to that, so I don't speak a whole lot about that. People ask me why I don't talk about marriage. Well, because I'm not married, so I've never been married. So hopefully we'll never be married. So I don't really discuss that. So yeah, but I'm very aware of all of that, and I trust the brothers that kind of in the trenches to be able to speak to that more authoritatively than me.
Okay. Yeah, I do like Carnell. I met him at the 21 convention.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I volunteered for that. And he's really amazing dude. And his story about paternity fraud is ridiculous. Having to pay for so many years for a child that wasn't even his.
Yeah, I basically just focus on talking about the various ways in which Black women annoy me, and that's pretty much what it boils down to.
and they don't like behavior being called out.
Yeah, they try to Kimberly Nicole Foster. Speaking of terrorism, Kimberly Nicole Foster called me a digital terrorist. Which I thought
was it her projecting her bullshit onto you that she's doing?
Of course, that's the default setting of many, not all, but many Black women. They tend to project, their own stuff on the Black men. Like the idea that Black men want to be like white men. You want to be like white men. You want to, proximity. They have all these lingo terms: proximity to whiteness, and you want to, benefit from the patriarchy. And listen, I have never woken up and thought, you know what? I really want to be like Kyle. God damn it! One day, if I could just wake up and be like Jared, I was like, no, I want to wake up and be like me.
But Obsidian, I hear that also from other communities, white women specifically. Really? It sounds like feminist puppetry. I do understand you guys have a disproportionate number of feminists in your community, but I don't think it's a Black woman thing compared to just a crazy bitch feminist thing.
Well, I tell you the difference between the white feminine, and I talk about this. You're going to like this, Amanda. There's a chapter in my book. It's early on in the book. Let me, I have it right in here. It's early on in the book, and it's chapter. Hold on a second. I'll tell you in a second. Let me. It's early on in the book. It's called A Real-Time. It's chapter 5. A real-time example of the difference between modern white feminism and modern Black feminism. The different. You look at the 4B movement. that whole thing after the election. See, here's the thing. With white women in the current age, with white women, you can pretty much tell on sight who is a white feminist and who's not, for the most part. I mean, it's a notable example, differences and exceptions. But generally, the white feminists, they look like something out of a bad X-Men movie.
Yeah.
Right? If you really sit down and think about it, right?
Yeah.
Whereas with Black women, because like you said, it's so pervasive, you really can't tell the difference between a Black feminist, card-carrying, stomp-down Black feminist and a rank-and-file Black woman. It's hard to distinguish between the two. Whereas in white America, you can pretty much, for the most part, distinguish between the I guess you could call them normie white women and the X-Men apocalypse, white women. You know, the X-Men Apocalypse white women. Those, you know, purple hair and and all that. They look like a Morlock or a mutant or something. That you can make that easy distinction. It's hard to do that in Black America because the lines are so blurred.
You think so? When you look in our government in America and you see all the women, which one of those women would you say is not a feminist?
In white America, believe it or not, feminism, card-carrying feminism, is actually in the distinct minority. I was reading somewhere, I can't remember.
Don't be fooled, sir.
It was like 20% or something like that subscribe across the board to it. And I'm inclined to believe it's a lower number than it is in Black America. I'll tell you that.
Well, it might be a lower number only because the marriage rates and people having children is higher. But if you look in our government, every single woman that is a senator, a secretary, like every woman that works in our government, like it's very diverse from AOC to there's so many of these crazy bitches on the right, you know, all these Republican women that are also feminists.
Well, name a couple. Do you think Tulsi Gabbard is one of them?
Yeah, she is. And actually, what's unfortunate about her is she wasted her life in politics, and she had a hell of a time trying to get pregnant and have children. And I think she has a lot of regret. But yeah, she's a feminist. She is a feminist.
Yeah. She has no kids. Is that right?
She tried. She used in vitro, and
oh wow, that is not a pleasant experience. I mean, I've never been through it myself, but I've read about it. And that's not a pleasant. First of all, it's very expensive. Second of all, it has a very high failure rate. And third, there's nothing pleasant about being shot in the stomach with drug. I mean, you know, with needles. So it's very bad.
She was on a podcast talking about her experience, you know, flying around for this political thing and that political thing and having to give herself a shot in the stomach in the bathroom at a fucking airport. And no wonder the shit didn't work. Like, no, but she sacrificed, like a lot of women making the wrong choices, sacrificed family for career.
Yeah.
So
now, Miss Toya, I remember you, and you're sitting there with a interested look on your face. And you're just sitting there. I mean, feel free to jump in here.
I will when I'm compelled.
I think I was more excited about picking your brain than Toya was. So.
Oh wow.
You was.
I just
admittedly.
I appreciate men in our society that are not willing to submit to the feminist tyranny. Like I appreciate that, and like what you're doing with the conclave, I hope it helps Black men build themselves so they can, you know, have families and do what it is that they want to do. But I just, like Andrew Tate, for instance, I appreciate that the tyrannical matriarchy has not fucking castrated and gagged that man.
You know, y'all probably know this. Donald Trump, actually, President Donald Trump, actually intervened on behalf of the Tate brothers, because they're getting really, you know, like railroaded over in Romania. I don't know the ins and outs of Romanian law, so I'm not going to speak to that. Just from an American point of view, it's a travesty what's going on over there. My thinking is this: I don't know if Tate is innocent or not. I don't know that. What I do know, as a proud American citizen, if you have a case, prosecute. Just prosecute. Okay, let's get the trial. Bring the witnesses, bring the evidence. Let's go. The man, him and his brother have been held hostage, de facto house arrest for like 2-3 years at this point. What the hell? Either they got a case or they don't.
Right.
You know?
And they don't. Clearly. Yeah, it was disappointing to see Governor DeSantis, what his response to one of these reporters pressing him about, you know, are you going to let Andrew, the Tate brothers in here, you know? And he pretty much was like, no. But DeSantis is a white knight for the tyrannical matriarchy. His wife wants to be in fucking politics.
Oh, wow, really? Okay.
Yes.
Huh.
So
wow.
That's why, like, there's a lot of people that are like left, right, you know, liberal versus Republican. I'm like, no. You have crazy bitch feminists everywhere. Like, you can't say your shit is clean over here when you have this going on. Like,
that's interesting. I have to be on the lookout for that.
Yeah.
So do you think Naomi Wolf has turned over a new leaf? Do you think that or she's still of the you know, she's still firmly in the feminist camp. You know, she became famous some years back for suggesting that it was a beauty myth and all the rest of it. And she supposedly went for Trump last year in the elections. So I didn't have a chance to really do a deep dive on it, but I remember reading about it in passing. So
yeah, I don't know. I think there's here. I'm gonna share this right here. Is this who you're talking about? This feminist journalist?
Yeah. She's
okay.
Yeah, that's her. Naomi Wolf. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, if she voted for Trump, then the lesbian community.
Yeah.
They're apologists. Yeah, so it looks like she was grown up in a fucking lesbian sex cult. A lot. Well, it's true. Like, it's where it's the core, the absolute root of feminism. It's a mating strategy for the lesbians, and it's disgusting. Because what they do is they emotionally terrorize these young women at university to cause them to not want to be with men and be afraid of men.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, here, I'll always be here for you. And then they get them in bed. Like, it's
kind
disgusting.
of grooming him and all that. Yeah, it's kind of creepy.
They are groomers, big time.
Yeah, that's kind of creepy. Well, you know, Audre Lorde was one hell of a womanizer. You know that, right? I write about her in the book too.
Yeah.
I read about Audre Lorde. She's like a patron saint to modern black feminists. She's like a patron saint. Well, you know, she's a heck of a player. She's not a player. She just crush a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's what these crazy bitches do. They want to get all the women away from men so they can get them in bed. Because the lesbian relationships don't work out well. Like, they don't last long term, so they have to go through a lot of people.
Yeah. It's wild, man. It's wild.
Yeah.
Really wild. So.
Well, I am looking forward to. I hope I can get that link from Moses if you sent the one about feminism too.
Oh, hold on a second. I'll put it in the private chat. Hang on.
Oh, thank you.
Hang on a second. I should have did this right off the rip. Here you go. Ta-da.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I told him, I said, listen, I mean, there's a lot of material to cover between the two books. You're looking at 700 over upwards of 900 pages between the two. But I said, I know there's no way they're going to be able to breeze through, blast through damn near 900 pages. No way. In
right.
Way. But I was hoping that you'd be able to like get a quick, skim through. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got to the women cheating part in the
red
Black Love one. Yeah, in the red book. Yeah, that's as far as I just black this, black that, black this. But I get.
Well, I mean,
I understand you write this for people who look like you, Obsidian.
Yeah, let's just get riches. I wasn't supposed to write that book.
Yeah,
I had no plans of writing that book. I had no plans of writing books for Black women. My intention was just to write books aimed at Black men. But what happened was, I can show you, but I can tell you. Hold on a second. This is what happened. Hang on a second. It was wild too. How it went down. Hold on a second.
They wanted you to write one just for them.
Yeah. This is what happened.
They want to be included.
Exactly. And this is what happened. Here you go. You can put that up on the screen. Everybody can see it.
I'm gonna do something that I normally would not do. I am very particular about recommendations. So if I'm going to recommend something, I'm going to recommend it on the strength of the character of the person who I know wrote the book. He's my friend and he wrote a hell of a book, and I think you should all pick it up. Yes, I want you to go buy a copy. He cites his sources. If you like me and data, you'll love him. Here you go. The Book of Obsidian.
The Book of Obsidian. After more than a decade of the most intense boots-on-the-ground study of relationships and the science of human mating, Mumia Obsidian Ali, one of the founding fathers of the Black Manosphere and longtime podcaster, talk radio host, blogger, and writer, finally weighs in and gives his take. Read the Book of Obsidian and find out why it's a #1 bestseller on Amazon. The Book of Obsidian, on sale now wherever fine books are sold. The Book of Obsidian.
Yeah, so when ladies saw Kevin, on his live show, like endorsing my book and everything, and it went #1 as a result.
Yeah.
It shot right to the #1 on Amazon.
Yeah.
And when they saw that, they said, "When are you gonna do a book for us?" I was like, "Excuse me? when you gonna do a book for us?" So I was like, "Oh wow." So then I said, "Oh, you know what? Maybe I should do a book for him. This would be a great opportunity for me to put down on wax, so to speak, as they say back in the day, exactly what I think about Black women." So I went and started doing the book. I learned a lot. You say that a lot when you're an author, you do research. I learned a lot. But yeah, I really did. I really did learn a lot about Black women. There are a lot of things I did not know, like the 4 big reasons why Black women cheat. #1 is sexual variety.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of Black women really like variety, fellas. So yeah, I'm not, argue with your mama. Yeah, that's #1. There are 4 major reasons, huh?
The financial aspect.
Actually, you know what? Money isn't that big of a deal.
Really?
You would think so, but it's not. The #1 reason is sexual variety. The #2 reason is to retaliate against their man cheating. To get revenge.
Yeah.
So that's #2. And I tell fellas, we want to have the conversation about cheating, fellas. Okay, but #1 is sexual variety. #2, were you cheating? You need to be honest. Because that's the #2 reason why Black women cheat. So, and that things get a little uncomfortable for some brothers, they start squirming and stuff like that and sweating. But I mean, the numbers are what the numbers are. So, I wrote that book. It took me, let me see, I got started in like spring of 21, and I finished in like early 22, something like that. So, didn't take me that long to write it. Had a lot of fun with it. And, given some of the things that's going on right now, it almost seems like it's prophetic, given some of the stuff going on right now. You'll see what I mean when you read the book. But yeah, it's really, really, I'm glad that I wrote it. And now it's on wax, so to speak, exactly what I think. A lot of Black women say, "I don't need to read your book. I heard you on Clubhouse. I heard you on YouTube. I heard you here. I heard you there. I don't need to read your book." Rah, 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 rah,
Yeah.
So yeah, they can read the book and then know exactly what I think.
Yeah, I mean, as far as I got in the Black Love book, like you had a lot of statistics backing what you were saying, and I do like that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I try to do well, that's the reason why Kevin backed, we call it the Black Book. Yeah, that's the reason why he backed it, because it's chock full. That was like 450 something pages. So yeah, that was, it was chock full with a lot of stats and statistics. I'm not a fan of guys writing books and they just say stuff like it's a fait accompli and there's nothing backing it up. I'm the kind of person that prides myself, A, on doing my homework, lots of research, B, on being able to cite where I got my stuff from. Now, you may not agree with it, but you can't say that I'm just pulling it out of my ass.
Right.
So
I have this is more of a personal political question for you. Are you excited about what Doge is doing?
Yes. Yeah, I think it couldn't happen soon. It couldn't happen to a better government. As far as I'm concerned, it's long overdue to take the wrecking ball to a lot of stuff. Just throw it all in the trash and start over.
Yeah. Good.
Get rid of the IRS. Get rid of the Department of Education. Get rid of Planned Parenthood. That it means put it in the private sector. The whole thing, the private sector. I tell women all the time that, ones that's really angry about, but tell us what to do about it. Listen. There are 2 very simple solutions here. 1, completely defund Planned Parenthood, make that completely a private sector matter. 1. Number 2, get a constitutional amendment. You want abortion enshrined in law? No problem. Get a constitutional amendment. Problem solved.
Shuts
them up every time.
Yeah. I don't know if they can do that. I'd be interested to see the 19th
to his point, if we blow everything up and start all over again, they'll be able to do that.
Yeah. Maybe.
No, it's no maybe about it. If you blow everything up, you can do whatever you want after that.
With the Constitution?
If you blow everything up, like he said, then essentially we're doing away with all of the previous modes of operation in lieu of
all these 3-letter agencies really became a thing after the 60s. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I
I
mean,
mean, pushing women into getting degrees, the feminists in the universities had to create more fucking jobs for these degree-holding feminists. So that's how our government grew.
yeah. I mean,
Find jobs for all these women.
you're 100% correct. I mean, you look at I call it big daddy government, white daddy government. I mean, that's basically what it's, particularly with black women, especially. That's what it is. A big part of the middle class in Black America derives from the federal government.
Yes.
And my thinking is, listen, you can make the case, a credible case, in the past, in the previous century, that was a needed stopgap measure. Today, let's take the training wheels off.
Yeah.
Go in the private sector, make your own way.
Okay. Yeah. No, I like it. I'm excited. I just love crazy bitch feminists getting fired. They should not be paid taxpayer money for domestic terrorism, because that's what they are.
Ain't that
I have no problem with private, sector concerns. I mean, if you want to pay for that or whatever, you want to sponsor that, that's your business. I'm okay with that. I don't want government money being involved in any of that. My body, my choice. To the ladies, I say, for those for whom it applies, if it's your body and it's your choice, then you pay. I say the same thing to the men, by the way. The government should not be paying for the little blue pill for you. That's your problem. You need a Pfizer riser, figure out a way to pay for it.
A Pfizer riser.
Yeah.
A Viagra.
I've never heard it pronounced that way. A Pfizer riser.
That is funny. Yeah.
Man, look,
yeah, that is what the feminists complain about too.
Yeah, they always try to, draw that analogy, and that's why I said, hey, listen, my position is consistent. When Bush was Bush 43, Bush the younger, when he was in office, and the whole thing, the whole meltdown on Wall Street and so on and so forth went down, I was livid because my thinking is, listen, this sets a bad precedent. If we allow fat cats on Wall Street, if we allow fat cats in Motown to go to the government with both hands out talking about give me money, even though they screwed everything up, what example is that going to set for the rest of the country? Look, if you make a bad business decision, you got to live with it.
Yes.
Bear Stearns had to live with it. Lehman Brothers had to live with it. That's the way it goes. You make a bad decision, you got to live with it.
Yeah.
That's the way it is. So now the precedent has been set that you can make a bad decision and just go to the government, give me money. It's like, no. I was livid about that. I was actually in the hospital at the time because what was I? Oh yeah, I was dealing with a workplace injury. I was just retiring at 40 from my job. So I was in the hospital and I was so upset. They had to damn to give me a tranquilizer to calm me down. Mr. Mumia, you gotta calm down. I was so angry and upset because I was looking at it on TV about that. I was livid about that. I definitely disagreed with government intervention stepping in, giving Wall Street, Motown money because they messed up. No, if you make a bad business decision, you got to pay the price.
Yeah. I think the shrinking of our government is going to be huge. Absolutely huge. And with the borders closing and all these degree holding fucking crazy bitch feminists that are getting fired, they can go pick the fruit.
Yeah. Many of them look like they could use some fruit. They can eat some fruit. Get Lizzo out there. She can pick some tomatoes and stuff like that. She'll slim down even more.
Yeah. I think it's necessary.
Yeah. I think so too. Now Toya is just sitting there. Just kind of sitting there, just monitoring the procedure, doing the Clarence Thomas, just sitting there quietly.
Well, if I can be frank with you, Obsidian, I think I belong in that group of women that you were referring to a few minutes ago that feel like they don't need to read your book because they've heard you on YouTube and in different places. So I've never felt compelled to go further than what I've been exposed to. Yeah. And that's why largely I'm quiet, because you do a lot of talking and it doesn't really lend itself to me adding anything.
Okay. Okay. I mean, it's funny. I'm not going to say you because I don't know you like that. But in the past, women will, you know, they go, well, you said this and you said that. I said, well, you know, I actually like expand on this in the book. I don't need to read your book. Rah, rah, rah. You know, and,
yeah, I'm not rabid. I don't feel that strongly. So
I mean, they really get fired up, you know. And I said, well, you know, I expand on that. You know, yes, I do touch on that impact. You know, what I've learned, you know, doing podcasting for so long, 10 years now, what I've learned, podcasting is a very different animal from book writing. That's a completely different. It's like landing on Jupiter with podcasting, then you land on Mars with book writing. It's a completely different like world. You're really not able. You're really limited in the YouTube medium. Believe it or not, you're really limited. You know, because you really can't. It's something about book writing that you can expand on things that you can't in a video. You just can't. No matter how long is it, you can do a 3 hour, 4, and I believe me, I've done a lot of them. You do a lot of 3 hour, 4 hour, 5 hour. Nothing compares to a well-written, well-organized, well thought out, well-sourced book. It just doesn't. It just doesn't. I've been to the dance 3 times already. I got 2 books dropping this year. Matter of fact, did I tell you about my book on Kevin Samuels?
No, I did hear it. I was going to get to that.
Yeah, I got a book
a little later
on Kevin Samuels this year. Yeah, we talked about it before he passed away. Matter of fact, the last we used to talk every day. For like the last few years of his life, we used to talk like almost every day. He would call me, and we would chop it up for anywhere from half an hour to 2 hours, depending. And the last conversation we had was Easter Sunday, 2022. He passed away May 5th. And it was really surreal. And I pitched him an idea for a book because I was noticing people would watch his shows, and then, you know, people would make clips of them, post them on TikTok and Instagram. So people would look at a 60-second clip of a show that's 2 hours long, and then they just run off into the wild blue yonder with that 60 seconds. So I said, listen, people are really like taking your stuff and just going buck wild with it. I said, listen, what needs to happen is somebody needs to write a book explaining all of your major positions and talking points and explaining it all in detail in writing so that people know exactly what you mean. Whether they agree or not, that's fine, but at least they know exactly what you meant. He said, yeah, man, that's a great idea. You should write it.
Yeah.
You know, and he wanted to write books himself, but he just didn't have the time. You know, if you want to really do YouTube and social media well, it's pretty much a full-time job. And Kevin was doing all this by himself. Everything you see in those videos, the lighting, the camera work, the sound work, you know, set pieces, he did all that himself. The only thing he didn't do was the, you know, edited, shorts or clips out of his shows. That was handled by O'Shea Duke Jackson's guys. But everything else, you know, that he did himself, which is phenomenal. Because I'm like all thumbs when it comes to stuff like that. I can get on the mic and talk shit, but I mean, as far as like, you know, as far as like video camera work and integrating that with the sound and so on and so on, and this and that, and I suck when it comes to interior decorating. So I mean, you know, but I can get on the mic, talk shit, and I can write books. But him doing that and doing it so well by himself.
Oh, he was a master at getting crazy bitches to make confessions live. Like that's what I loved about and he didn't let any woman get away with toxic feminine behavior on his show. And I love that.
he's definitely like he broke the mold, man. I mean, God broke the mold when he made him. And and he still remains the gold standard, you know, pretty much. He's the gold standard.
I would argue that that's what made him so dangerous, that he was so able to showcase that toxic femininity in such a way that I think it undermined a lot of where people get revenue from women.
Yeah. And well, so, you know, there's a thing right now, y'all. I'm almost certain y'all heard of it. The tonight's conversation debacle, I guess you could call it, meltdown, scandal, whatever you want to call it. And I write about all that in the book, but not that particular, because this book came out almost 3 years ago. But it's almost like I was prophetic because I was discussing what I refer to as the black love machine. So you have this, Amanda, I don't expect you to. So in Black America, you have this, and it's a big money business. I mean, you can make millions of dollars from this.
Yeah.
So there's a multi-million-dollar business in Black America where Black men are essentially telling Black women what they want to hear in the guise of black love. So you have a Derek Jackson, a Michael Baisden. I mean, to be fair, this has been around for a long time. Steve Harvey. And now you have a new crop of guys coming through. Like I said, Jackson, Ace Metaphor, Stephon Speaks. So it's a big deal. And I wrote about that in the Red Book. Matter of fact, the very first chapter is called The Formula, because I studied these guys. And I break down the formula. I've had Black women tell me that's one of the hardest chapters they've ever read in any book.
Yeah.
Very hard chapter to read because, you know, it just really got to them that bad. But it was almost prophetic looking back, writing the book and looking at what's going on right now with tonight's conversation, etc. et al. I talk about Dr. Umar Johnson too. I mean, you know, all that is almost like those prophetic.
Wait, Obsidian, so do you put Stephon Speaks in that category?
I do.
I do too.
Really? Because I've seen him. He's pretty, like, he has a channel for dudes too.
He does.
But like, I hear him, I mean, and he'll back it up by kind of apologizing ahead of time, but he's not easy on women and their behavior.
The fact that he has to
I know he does that.
Yeah,
kind
of genuflect and all that before the Black Vagina Division. You know, the fact that he does that tells you exactly what side of the bread the butter's on. Understand, I got into it over on Facebook about this. Understand this. There are only 2 Black men who was truly fair and balanced on both sides. One of them was Kevin Samuels. The other one you're talking to right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the great thing about it, and I, again, didn't plan it, but the great thing about it is Kevin is in video form. Mine is in literary form. The very first book was written to and for Black men. The Red Book was written to and for Black women. Is equal smoke on equal sides. Kevin was giving brothers that work for years in obscurity. Okay.
Yeah.
No holds barred. You can go back and listen to it for yourself. And as a matter of fact, the book that I wrote on Kevin, it follows his life. So it's about the last 5 years of his life. That's what the book is about. It's not a whole biography or nothing like that. I don't think I'm qualified to do that. Somebody else is going to have to do that. But I did the last 5 years of his life. And the first half of the book is devoted to Black men based on his actual videos. I actually reference the videos in each chapter. And the second half of the book is aimed at Black women, again, based on actual videos that he did. Like, you can actually go back and find out exactly in the book what video I'm talking about and look it up. I did that on purpose. So there's only really 2 brothers. Like, if you look at all the other guys out there, Jackson, Harvey, Stephon's written a whole bunch of books, Tony Gaskins, none of those guys have written books specifically for Black men and specifically for Black women. None of them have. Right. I'm the only one who has. And I love the irony of it. It's like only Nixon could go to China, right? I mean, I love the irony of it. It is true. There is a God out here because, you know, it's a really sense of humor here. You know what I mean? It's like, of all people, you know what I mean? So yeah, there's only 2 men Black men who has ever been truly fair and balanced, and that's Kevin and Mumia. Yeah. And I defy anybody to offer evidence to the contrary. First of all, you would have to offer evidence that's on par with Kevin. So Kevin had did this for Black men for years. Then he did it with Black women for years. Yours truly wrote a 450-page book aimed at Black men. Then I turned around and wrote a 360-page book aimed at Black women. No holds barred.
While we're talking about him, I just want to take a moment to recognize his life and legacy. Rest in peace, Kevin Samuels.
Yeah. He's a good friend, and you know, the book really, like I said, we talked about doing the book in the spring of 22, Easter Sunday. He gave me the green light, and I was going to go ahead and start, you know, working on it, and then of course he passed away, and then we had the conclave the month after. At that time, we did it in June here in Philly. So everything was hitting me all at once. And after the conclave was over, going into the fall, I really kind of fell into a funk. like a depression, I guess. Really kind of grieving his loss, and I really couldn't get in the headspace to write. Probably the first time I ever faced writer's block. I've almost never faced writer's block. Everything just kind of tumbles out of me. But that time it did, and it remained from, say, the fall of 22 until the fall of 24 in Houston. When I got back home from Houston, it was just like a cloud had been lifted, and I just started writing. September 13th was when I started writing. I wrapped on December 16th, so that's just over 90 days. Banged out 26 chapters, 13 for the men, 13 for the women. So, and that took me 90 days to write, and it will be.
So it's finished?
Yeah. The manuscript was done on December 16th.
Okay.
And just waiting for my copy editor, proofreader, typesetter to get around to it. She's got a lot of projects on her own, but she's promised me that she's finally getting to it this spring. I'm hoping it will be done by this time next month, and it can go off to the publisher. I'll let you guys in on the exclusive. So Kevin was known as the godfather to many, but I affectionately refer to him as Saint Kevin. And yeah, so when I was putting together the book, this wasn't the original plan in 22. It all came to me after I got back home from Houston last September. So it all came to me in like an epiphany. I'm not a Christian, by the way. I am a very, very lax Muslim, I guess you could say. I am observing Ramadan, and his sundown, grab something to eat. But Kevin was fairly devout Christian, and he often would profess his faith, throughout the shows if you ever watched them. And then our final conversation was Easter Sunday, right? For Christians, the most important date on the calendar. And so it all just kind of came to me that it's kind of tongue in cheek, but it's also kind of serious. To kind of write the book with a kind of religious theme. So the title of the book is The Gospel of St. Kevin Samuels, as told by Mumia Obsidian Ali, and it has a biblical look to it. The book will look like a Bible, gold gilt edged, leatherette style, covers and ribbon bookmarker and the whole Megillah, gilt, the gold stamp, the writing on the front. And all. So yeah, that's kind of like the theme of the book. It all kind of came to me after I got back home from Houston, and it all just came tumbling out. I was just like 2 years, couldn't do anything with it, but it was a very cathartic process. Cried a lot. Had to take breaks from sometimes. It kind of just like let it all out. And finally came to terms with Kevin being gone on the earthly plane. I kind of consider him like similar to like Obi-Wan Kenobi, he's gone, he kind of moved on, but he's in another.
He's like, ever present.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it gave me a kind of chance to kind of grieve him and move on. So it was a multi-year period of grief, and the book kind of helped me move through it. So yeah. But yeah, it's gonna have like a religious type of theme. It will look like a Bible. So
yeah, that's cool. I like that.
Yeah, and I appreciate you letting us in on that, so we have something to look forward to. But in the interest of not wasting anybody's time and Ramadan, like you just mentioned, we are going to bring this stream to a close.
Yeah. Obsidian, thank you for coming up here. I want to touch base with you after I finish your feminism book.
Yeah. Anytime you guys want to chop it up, just let me know, man. I'll be happy to come back. Hopefully the next time around, we'll be on camera, fingers crossed. But that's supposed to be happening sometime this spring, going into the summer, fingers crossed. But I'd love to come back. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate having you.
All right now. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye. Awesome. You did great, Amanda. I think you carried that on your back for the most part. And
I have more questions, but I do have to go.
No, we all have to go. And
Yeah.
also, it'll give us something else to talk about when he comes back. So we'll be more prepared for that. And, you know, I want to shout out to our contraband for showing up and showing out for us today. And look forward to seeing you guys again next week.
Thanks, Tom, for being here.
Thanks, Tom, for being here. Tom is always here. I love
I
that
know.
about Tom. I really appreciate you, Tom. All right. So, yeah, we'll see you guys next week. In the meantime, follow us on X at Contraverse. Email us at contraversational@gmail.com and head on over to our Rumble channel and subscribe. Rumble.com/user/contraversations. We'll see you there and we'll see you next week.
Bye, everybody.